Will you still be around when they put me 6 feet underground? Will the big, bad, beautiful you be around? Everyone says they know you.
Welcome to the planet, the podcast for L-word fans. This is Casey.
And this is Elka.
All right.
What was that?
Well, since your voice is extra low today, I thought I'd make mine extra high.
Oh, we're trying to be more different.
Yeah.
Well, I've been smoking cigarettes all morning
Ew.
so that my voice would get deeper.
She only smoked cigarettes so that we could prove a point to the children.
Yeah.
Don't smoke cigarettes or your voice will sound like Elka's.
Sound like Henry. I still have the monkeypox, but I'm getting better.
I don't think you're getting better. But
I'm not. I was just saying that because I don't want anyone to worry about me.
those natural healing doctors you've been going to, it just doesn't work. They're like, spin around in a circle when there's a full moon and your sinuses will clear up.
Well, I've been praying to Jesus every day and I'm still not better, so I don't understand. You must be facing the wrong direction when I pray or something.
You're probably not kneeling at the right angle. You're just as likely to get better by praying to the baby Jesus as you are by going to a natural healing doctor and throwing herbs over yourself while you dance in a circle.
Now, how the hell do you know? Have you ever been to a homeopathic doctor?
Actually, I have, but not really. I went to a regular doctor once, and I had never been there before, and I walked in, and there was this, the receptionist, and behind her there were numerous shelves filled with spleens and teeth and herbs and all this crazy shit.
Sounds like my office.
My girlfriend was like, you're not going here. And so then I was like, this isn't for my doctor. There was another doctor in that building, but it was pretty weird. And even the doctor I went to was really weird. At least he knew what he was doing, unlike your doctor, apparently.
I haven't really been to the doctor.
What? I thought you went yesterday. You lied? How'd you get a prescription?
No, I mean, well, that's just allergy medicine. It doesn't help. And she said there's pretty much no cure. You just got to suffer till the juniper trees are done.
Who's she?
My doctor.
You just said you didn't go to a doctor.
I mean, not for the monkeypox. Just for my allergies.
Well, no shit. The fuck is the monkeypox? Is that a real thing?
Well, where do you think aspirin comes from?
Oh, I know this.
Tree bark.
What?
It comes from I mean, these herbs and stuff. Where do you think heart medicine comes from? Flowers.
What's your point here?
Yeah, some of the homeopathic medicine is kind of out there, but that's where medicine comes from.
I was once cured of Lyme disease by a homeopathic doctor. God, why don't you spill your coffee all over the place, you damn fool? You're not but a fool.
Wait a minute.
You've lost the ability to drink.
I told you I'm not well.
It's not even like...
I was trying not to get it on the mic. Shit. All right, we better wrap this up now. Dana's funeral, the end. See you next week.
What the fuck? Do you need a towel?
I said I was trying not to make sound on the mic when I drank my coffee, and I tilted it too far. Okay, wait. What the fuck? Lyme disease?
God, are we really going to go into this?
I don't know. Maybe not. I thought this was going to be like a short podcast this week.
Well, yeah. Once I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, and I got a bunch of shots in my body, antibiotic shots. The outlook was bleak, of course. I had all these symptoms of it, supposedly. And then I went to different kinds of doctors, and one of the doctors I went to gave me like herbs and told me to do certain exercises, which of course, yeah, right.
Well, wait a minute. I remember this because they told you were starting to go blind.
Yeah, they told me my vision was getting worse.
And that you were going to end up needing to walk with canes.
I mean, they prepared me for a very bleak future. This was about 10 years ago.
It was when we first met. So like 8 years ago. No, we met 9 years ago.
I got all these really painful shots. These huge shots, and it hurt really bad. And I think I had to get them every 20 days or something. Why am I telling this story?
I don't know. It had something to do with homeopathy.
So then I moved away, and after I got settled in, I was like, okay, I have to get a doctor here to treat my Lyme disease. And I went to the doctor, and the lady's like, you don't have Lyme disease.
What?
I think it had been a couple of years that I thought I had it.
So what did you have?
I don't know. Probably a fucking cold. Who knows? Doctors are assholes.
I remember this. They said that you were going to die.
They didn't say I was going to die. They said that my life was going to be shortened by quite a bit. It's not like they said I was going to die tomorrow or something. But yeah, it was crazy. And then I was like, okay, everybody, I don't have Lyme disease now. And everybody's like, what?
Some people thought you made it up to get attention like Jenny Schechter would, but you didn't tell very many people.
I only told a handful of people that I did have it. And
because
some
there's
of those
such
people,
a stigma to Lyme disease. I don't know why you were so weird about that.
Well, it's just like, how do you bring it up? I have Lyme disease.
And plus, nobody knows what the hell it is. So.
Yeah. I just now realized for the first time that some of the people that I told, they never knew that I didn't have it, so they might think I'm dead right now.
Oh, great.
Like one of my ex-girlfriends. I don't think she ever knew that I didn't have it.
Well, she's Tina, so she probably doesn't care.
That's true. Well, no, she's not as bad as Tina. So anyway, my point was, when I was going through this whole thing, I went to one of those doctors who believed in, like, natural healing. It was more like she was going to make my process of dying or dealing with the disease less painful and less of a interruption of my life.
She was going to make death less of an interruption of your life.
Dying.
Okay.
So I think that those doctors there's a reason they don't need a license to practice.
I remember you coming back one time to where we worked, and you were telling me about how she was trying to do, like, the guided meditation. Just like what Bet did with Dana.
That
she took her to her happy place. Yeah, I remember you telling me about this with the Lyme disease, and you're like, that shit doesn't work for me.
Right, I can't meditate.
There wasn't, like, a bush shaped like a cock and balls.
See, this is kind of a stupid story.
But it's kind of interesting, though. It's kind of weird. I guess diseases are on my mind right now. So don't worry, kids. We're perfectly healthy now, except for my monkeypox.
Okay.
AKA juniper allergy.
That was a weird, long, and winding road.
I was totally thinking, okay, we're not going to do any tangents today. We can just get this done. It'll be short podcast.
Sorry.
Here we go again.
We have a guest host today.
No, we don't. He's already asleep.
We're sitting at the kitchen table, and the dog is sitting at the table.
He's sitting on the chair.
He was sitting here like, okay, let's go, people.
And he has a little bib around his neck and a knife and a fork in each paw.
All right.
Well, probably part of what's aggravating my monkeypox is that I've been, like, crying nonstop.
Did you cry on this one, too?
Not the second time.
The first time you watched it, you cried.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, Dana died and I teared up, but then I was doing the podcast and getting the music for the end of the podcast, that Colin Hay song, and it's really sad. But I've heard that song a million times. But then when I was trying to get a sound clip out of it for the podcast, and I was thinking about Dana and listening to that song, oh, it made me cry. And then I had to listen to the song like 5 times to get the sound clip just right, and I cried every time.
Yeah, but that was like a week ago. I'm talking about this show.
Well, and then when the show was on Sunday, I started crying before the opening credits were even done.
Speaking of the opening credits,
I think I was crying with joy, then it was different.
The opening credits were better, I think, because of the lack of that annoying... Actually, they did have the song, but just a less annoying version of it.
Yeah, it was just like slowed way down, and they played it on their 1988 Casio.
The opening should just be something really simple, not some ridiculous... We've gone over this, though. Yeah, everybody knows, except for a few people in the world, apparently.
The opening was really, really good. I loved it. And it was sad.
Well, I don't think they could have used the old opening for this show.
A little too cheerful. Actually, I have to say that I thought episode 11 was one of the best episodes of the whole series. I loved it. And the intro was great. I really liked it. I was crying before the opening credits even ended. And I didn't stop crying until I cried like an hour straight. I am just going to say they changed the intro for this one episode. I hope that we have a brand new, shiny, sparkling season 4 intro that's really different and that doesn't make me want to shove a pen into my eardrum.
Well, I bet they got a lot of letters and emails about it on this episode when they changed it, because we got a bunch.
Do you think that they're responsive to their fans?
No, obviously not.
I mean, I've never sent a fan letter or anything like that. But you know what? If I were making the show, I would not read the emails or fan mail or visit the message boards because it'd be depressing.
They have a huge team working on it. I'm sure they don't feel that they need the advice of 10 million viewers. And let's face it, we're going to watch it either way. The show could just start to really suck and we're still going to watch it because it's the only lesbian show on.
Don't tell them that. Then they'll have even more Betty.
Other than Tool Belt Diva.
What's that?
Tool Belt Diva?
Yeah.
It sounds like
Did you make that up? That sounds like you.
No.
You're the Tool Belt Diva, aren't you?
No, it's a show on Discovery Home or something.
So there was no thing with the chart this time.
Right. No, there wasn't.
The episode starts with Dana's funeral. All Dana's friends and her real family are sitting in the back of the bus, so to speak, completely excluded.
It's an enormous metallic funeral. It's huge, and they have a microphone. I thought that what the preacher had to say was completely ridiculous. That would not be said at a funeral. Sometimes they do say really rude things at a funeral. I've witnessed this recently. I was at a funeral recently where it was a young person who died in a car accident. And he probably went to church a few times in his life, wasn't big into that, just some normal dude, whatever. He probably believed in God, I don't know. They made all these assumptions about him, he just didn't have time to be saved, and all this stuff they said at the funeral.
What do you mean he didn't have time to be saved?
He was too young, so he hadn't had the opportunity yet to express his faith. It was really rude. And I thought it was just, ugh. My mom was there and she was like, this is ridiculous. This is too religious. I feel like we're at church.
Didn't you tell me that the preacher started trying to convert the funeral attendants?
Yeah. In the middle, not at the beginning or the end of the funeral, but in the middle of it, when he was talking about that this person, he didn't know his faith, but he hoped that he believed. I don't know. It was really unforgiving. Basically, he was like, well, if he hasn't been saved, then he's going to hell.
Nice funeral.
Right. Well, the guy was Baptist. In the middle of the funeral, he was like, so let's all bow our head. And the cat meowed at the funeral.
I'm sorry, she's needy.
So he's like, let's all bow our heads. And so, of course, I just sit there. And there are maybe 2 other people out of this huge group who didn't bow their heads. And then he goes on to pray. And then he's like, and if any of you would like to take Jesus Christ as your savior, please raise your hand as everyone in this room has their eyes shut. It's something to be ashamed of. I just looked at him like, you're fucking crazy. Nobody raised their hand. I should have gotten up and been like, yes, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, that would have been real appropriate.
Like Alice.
At my grandma's funeral, okay, my dad's an atheist, and my grandma never went to church a day in her life. And at her funeral, the preacher was like, she had a deep, abiding faith.
Are you serious?
All her life, and I spoke to her before she passed, and she expressed her love for Jesus. And first of all, for 3 years before she died, she didn't know who the hell was in the room. I mean, she had no idea who I was or anything. But somehow she was able to express her deep, abiding faith in Jesus that she had kept secret from her family her whole life and withheld from her children.
Well, I guess if you're going through a time where you don't know what's going on, that's probably when you would start to believe in God. I don't know. Dana, she probably did believe in God because she's kind of traditional in a lot of ways. Who knows if she believed in God or not?
Regardless of whether or not she believed in God, that funeral was not what Dana would have wanted.
Right.
She wouldn't have wanted her closest friends in the world to be sitting in the back and excluded from the functions to do with family and friends.
That part was probably accurate.
Absolutely.
But the part that was ridiculous was when the preacher started saying, oh, she didn't have time to find a love. They don't talk about the things that you were lacking in your life at your funeral. She would have been a great doctor one day if only she had gone to college. You don't talk about the things that you don't have. So that was kind of weird. Plus, she's a famous tennis player. She had a gay advertisement in a national magazine about coming out. Granted, her parents didn't get it, but everybody in that room knew she was gay. What's with the facade?
I bet that's how it would be if Mary Chaney tragically died.
No.
They'd be like, she just hadn't had time yet to find the man that would change everything for her.
But all of the girls, some of them have smirks. Like, what?
Because at first it's too bizarre. And Kit started crafting. She was crying and laughing.
Jenny looked drunk, and she was like...
Jenny always looks drunk.
She just, like, totally smiled and turned to the side like, what?
They put them in the back of the funeral, and they treated them like the naughty kids in study hall, and that's how they started acting in a way. Yeah. But also in a way it was ridiculous because they're the ones who knew Dana.
Right, on a day-to-day basis.
They're the ones who knew how to commemorate Dana. Mm-hmm. They're the only ones who knew, other than Dana's brother. I wish that they would have taken Dana's brother to that camp with them.
He could have hung out with Max. They could have had gay sex.
Oh, you know how... Okay, shut up. You know how
what?
We said that we want new characters next year and maybe we could get some new fags? What if Dana's brother moves to LA and he's friends with the group? And then he could be a character. That'd be cool. And then we'd still have a Fairbanks on the show. This show is making us we're talking about that funeral. We're talking about disease.
Yeah, it's
what
weird.
A downer. I mean, we're trying, but I can't think of anything funny to say.
Who do you think is taking the death the hardest?
Exactly who I said would.
Well, other than Alice.
Alice, no, I said Shane. But I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but Shane is definitely taking it the hardest.
She's so sensitive.
Well, think about it. Shane never had a family. Her friends are her family, the only family she's ever had, and she's never been in love until Carmen. So the only people she's ever loved in her whole life are that group of friends. So for Shane to lose Dana is really like losing a part of her family.
Shane took it so hard that she proposed to Carmen.
That's romantic. Our friend died. Let's get married.
So they're all waiting for Alice, and Alice brings out the Starbucks coffee cup of ashes.
She stole Dana.
How do you do that?
I had a feeling that she had Dana's brother run interference.
Do you think that she stole all the ashes?
I was wondering. I mean, I don't know. How much ashes does a person...
We should have looked it up.
I really don't need to know that. I mean, I know it fits in that little urn.
I think she stole all the ashes.
I hope so.
Which is really funny because that means her parents are going to spend like $50,000 or something to put a vase in a mausoleum.
Did you notice they're all waiting for Alice and she comes up and she's like, hey guys, look what I got. She says it like she brought pot. Hey guys, check it out. I've got some E.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's just a coffee cup. She could have just been like, okay, I got the ashes in this coffee cup. She's just carrying a coffee cup around. It's not like she took the whole urn. That would have been funny. She goes running through the church with an urn.
The only thing that I would like to add to the funeral thing, Bet wasn't wearing any makeup in this episode, and Jennifer Beals looks so nice without makeup. She should never wear makeup.
I'm sure she was.
No, at the funeral, well, then she had her makeup done to look like she wasn't wearing any because she looked different. It was nice. Then, to complete your day of mourning over your friend who's just tragically died at a young age, Tina takes Angelica to the aquarium with Tina's new fuckboy.
Worse than that, Bet has to come home to... First of all, why are they hanging out in Bet's house?
Because Tina has no soul.
That's so wrong. If you were the guy, you wouldn't want to hang out in there. Well, maybe you would, because maybe he doesn't feel threatened at all. I would have been like, get out of my house. And then later, they're kissing in the kitchen by the window.
At the day of Dana's funeral, Tina and Henry are giggling and making out in the kitchen. You don't giggle the day of the funeral. Maybe you and I would, but most people don't giggle.
They're so rude. This is very realistic. They're so rude in their little heterosexual... They're flaunting their heterosexuality.
They're so privileged and they feel like they deserve it.
And that's how breeders are. They go into restaurants with their kids and they think they own the place and they don't care if they disturb your meal and they can make out at their table and it's so gross. Like, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, and then if I hold hands with my girlfriend...
Then they're all
get a brick thrown in my head.
So Bet comes home. They're going to the aquarium, and their dumbass kid is like, "Take a family picture of us, please." And Bet looks just, her soul is ripped out through her chest at that moment. So sad.
You know, Mikey, that little redheaded kid,
he's a blonde, but anyway.
Strawberry blonde then. He would be cute if he weren't related to the devil. He's a cute little kid, and yet I hate him because of what he represents. I'm 5.
And next year you'll be 6. 666, you little devil child. Yeah, we're mean. What the fuck? We're picking on a 5-year-old now. No, the kid's totally adorable. But that really irked me, hanging out in their house. At the most, he should drive up to the curb and beep the horn. Why is she still even living there? I guess because of the baby.
Because Tina has got no heart. She's just a cruel woman.
She looks good now, though. I like her clothes now. Her hair looks better. She looks thinner. I think she's lost some weight. She looks good.
See, this is what happens when you break up with someone. All of a sudden, they get really good looking.
Well, I didn't break up with the bitch. No. No, but I thought you were going to say when you break up with someone. Well, usually the person who gets dumped starts to look better because they are like all depressed. They start drinking, losing weight. They don't eat anymore. They get pale because they don't leave their house.
Every time I break up with someone, I get my hair cut and dyed and buy some new clothes. And
well, you do that every week anyway.
All right,
do you really? On. I guess, yeah, you have to.
Don't you remember that time that my hair was blonde?
Yes, I do. And I remember that time your hair was pink. Did you break up with someone then?
Yes.
You did? Oh, you did. Well, your hair's been the same color for a while now, so.
Well, actually, this is the first time I've seen my natural color in probably a decade, and I was surprised. I'm like, oh, that's what color my hair is?
Well, the reason why you do that, you break up with someone or you get dumped. In your case, you break up with someone. In my case, I guess I have a 50-50 record. But anyway, I think everybody does that. And the reason I do it is because I'm like, okay, I gotta go get another girlfriend. I gotta start looking good again. So you lose 10 pounds and get your hair cut and a new bra that you wear on the outside of your clothes. So yeah, Tina's totally doing that. But what about Henry then? Is this his good look? Because what does his bad look like?
Well, you know how guys are. You start dating a guy and he's on his best behavior for about 3 months. And then he starts leaving dirty socks on the couch.
Everybody's like that. Not
drinking out of the milk carton, so.
Like Max. Then they turn into Max.
No, that's not true.
Oh my God. We've been talking for 35 minutes and we haven't even we've just gotten past the funeral scene. What's wrong with you?
This is terrible.
Quit going off on tangents.
It's you! I thought that this whole podcast was going to be about 30 minutes. And here we go. We haven't. Okay, let's get to work.
Why?
Why?
I just realized why I'm doing this like subconsciously because I have a test today. That I have to study for. So I'm like, the longer we get this podcast,
you asshole,
the less I have to study for that fucking test.
I told you I've got work to do today. I've got to make a bunch of clones.
Well, I don't really have to study for tests. I'll just give the girl a blowjob to give you an A.
I hate you.
No, I do have to study. That's why I'm putting that
Well,
on.
let's fucking do it then. Okay, go.
Quit yelling,
Why?
bitch. Because I'm sick of you. Yelling into my ear. Because when you yell, this magic wire that goes to my ear, it hurts. I'm turning you down. Casey. I'm muting your ass.
I'm sorry, Casey. Did I hurt
what did you say?
little ears?
Can't hear you.
Dylan goes to Helena's estate to drop off, totally unrealistic, by the way, to drop off all her footage for the documentary and the settlement check neatly ripped in half. And she's got her Volkswagen packed with stuff and drives away.
Looks like she moved out.
She was driving a black car. Who's this blue car person?
That whole thing was unrealistic. First of all, she could have just mailed it.
Yeah.
Secondly, she goes to the house with all her stuff packed up in her car, drops the thing through the gate with no note but a videotape of herself. That's stupid.
Yeah, because now couldn't Helena sue Dylan?
Yeah, you're right. She wouldn't,
for extortion or something.
What's she going to sue her for? Her Volkswagen Bug convertible? Oh, and they show the Volkswagen driving away. Sounds like a Honda. That's not the way a Volkswagen sounds. You could tell they added that sound later.
Really?
Yeah, you know what a bug sounds like.
I don't know.
Trust me, that was not.
Alrighty then.
Oh, man.
Don't
pound you again.
Still healing from the last one.
So Max goes to his interview and company tour.
Oh, wait. The video.
Oh.
Dylan's video. Helena is like trying to watch it, but she kind of can't, so she keeps muting and then unmuting. And Dylan's like, well, Danny, blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. It must be hard to come out of the closet. First of all, this is what people in the closet, if you stay in the closet into your 30s like Dylan, you get kind of crazy. This is one reason why, while you're in your 20s, you have to come out. I know it can be hard and it sucks, but you get over it. By the time you're in your 30s, everyone is fine. But if you stay closeted till you get old like Dylan, your brain gets twisted and you start acting nuts like she does. Unless you're in the military. Then I'll forgive you for staying closeted. So Helena's muting and unmuting, and Dylan says, I don't know how to fix the fact that I look, and then it mutes. What was she going to say?
Look like a monkey. I don't know.
I mean,
lick balls. Love you.
That's
Obviously.
what I think. I don't know how to fix the fact that I love pussy.
That I
love Helena.
Who knows?
Love Betty. No.
Wait, what did the sentence start out as?
I don't know how to fix the fact that I look. What do you think she was?
Fix the fact, though.
I don't know how to, like, I can't help it. I
legally challenged you.
That I act like a lobster. So.
Obviously, they want us to think that she was going to say, love you. Don't you think?
Maybe.
So Helena's heartbroken, and she looks really distraught.
She's very pale in this episode, too. She's wearing all black, and she was pale, and that's some good stuff, Rachel Shelley.
She looks sad without overdoing it. So Max gets his new job interview in tech mode and the company tour of the secret man room or whatever. They're like, let me introduce you to the guys. Which, I mean, yeah, it's probably accurate.
So Max gets a job, and a better job is offered to Max than the job that Moira was turned down for.
Right.
And Jenny knows this, and so Jenny expects Max to stand up for the forces of good and do what's right. And Max is like, 6 figures, dude.
What would you do?
On the record, I would stand up for righteousness, and off the record, I would take the money. I would take the money. But if I were Jenny, I would be like, you motherfucker. You better not take that money. No, I might not take it, actually. I probably wouldn't, because if I could get that job, I could get a different job at a place where I'd be happy and not have to bend over for the man, even though that's kind of what Max likes.
They're kind of making it seem cut and dry, but the guy who interviewed Moira was a total ass, obviously. But at the same time, Moira was kind of weird in the interview, and they just didn't have a good interview.
Because the guy was a sexist asshole.
Maybe.
And a bigot.
I think that's why. I agree. But maybe they just didn't have a good interview. I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe if a woman went into the place and applied for the same job as Max was applying for, and if she was qualified, maybe she would get it. Who knows?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because Moira was kind of
weird.
Off kilter.
And it was a different person. I think that the job that I have now, if I would have interviewed with a different person, maybe I wouldn't have gotten it. A lot depends on who you get interviewed by.
Well, I think that they're setting this situation up pretty clearly on the show to be a blatant sexism thing.
Right, and I don't buy it, is what I'm saying.
What don't you buy?
I don't necessarily buy that this place is so sexist and that they wouldn't have given the job to Moira.
Are you a Republican? This shit happens all the time.
I know it happens all the time, and you go into tons of businesses, and the whole place is women working there, but the bosses are men.
So Jenny's pissed off at Max for thinking that it's okay to put up with this sort of sexism. So Jenny says, oh, you're just going to start sleeping with the enemy now?
And obviously she's talking about sexist asshole companies. Mm-hmm. And Max is like, if you think men are the enemy, then we're going to have a problem. They already have problems. Yay. Big fucking problems.
Obviously, Jenny isn't saying men are the enemy. She is saying that sexist assholes are the enemy. I know plenty of men, straight men or gay men, whatever, that would be pissed off about that, how sexist that place was if they knew about it. Why should Max think it's okay, but like a regular guy would be upset by that? Max is a fucking tool, that's why.
He's seeing dollar signs. Dream job and dollar signs.
Alice takes the ashes that she's stolen out of the Starbucks cup and puts them in a nice little jar. But
A makeup jar?
she puts most of them into a big blue jar, and then she takes some and puts them into a little pink jar that she doesn't tell anybody about.
Yeah, she's saving a little bit for herself.
Alice stole some Dana.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think that's kind of psycho.
What? No, I think that's not abnormal. Some
I
people
think
keep
it's
them.
very abnormal, especially that she stole the ashes in the first place, and now she's keeping some and not telling anyone.
I don't think it's weird at all.
I
would
it's
probably
pretty
do that.
Weird. Okay.
No, I wouldn't keep the ashes for myself, but I would have maybe stolen them from the funeral. For real. I definitely don't think that they should be put into some big concrete thing that you pay for and preserved. It's ridiculous. What's she going to do with them?
Well, that's what I want to know.
She's going to like sprinkle them all over her naked body.
Ew, that's disgusting.
Wonder what part of the body the ashes are from.
Just
butt.
don't.
It's Dana's ass.
You are so foul. I can't believe you're allowed to mingle with the rest of the people out here in the normal world.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. Did you think of that at all?
No!
You liar.
I fucking didn't, because you're psycho.
You didn't think of that?
No!
Not the negative, not the naked part. The part of like, I wonder what divisions of the body that...
No.
Okay, well, I guess I am a psycho then.
You are. You're scaring me.
Sorry, I can't help but think it.
All right, Casey Dahmer.
Shut up.
Bet shows up in the middle of the night at Angus's apartment where Kit is upset.
Kit's not upset.
So the doorbell rings. The doorbell rings and Angus is like,
What the fuck?
what the fuck? It was funny.
It was totally what you say, too. Like, it's the middle of the night. What the fuck?
He was half asleep, too. He's like, what? What the fuck? So Bet, obviously, she's really distraught. She's distraught by losing Angelica. She hasn't said anything about it, but she must be upset over the failure of her relationship with Tina. And she's very upset that she didn't.
When she comes in, she's not talking about the baby.
I'm saying, though, that's obviously part of what's upsetting her.
I guess. She's talking about Dana, though.
Yeah,
She doesn't have
mostly.
anybody to mourn with.
She's upset that she didn't get a chance to say goodbye to Dana. The Manny comes out and he puts some pillows and blankets on the couch and tells Bet and Kit to go sleep in the bed and he'll sleep on the couch, which is just a really nice thing. You know,
What?
if you weren't eating right now, we could do a podcast.
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm totally here. If you didn't hold that pen, you wouldn't be so distracted by the podcast. If you didn't drinking your coffee. Look.
Mangus tells Bet, I'm your guy. He offers to watch Angelica the next day so Bet can go to the memorial. He gives up his bed. Why can't Max take some hints from Mangus? That's the kind of guy you should want to try to be like.
Max isn't that kind of guy. We just got to accept it and quit bringing it up every fucking 5 minutes.
All right.
He's just an asshole guy.
Well, I'm saying that in comparison, Angus, he looks like a really nice guy. I like him. So then everybody drives in procession to Camp Makalaka Wakalaka.
Oh, I like when Bet comes over to, is it Mangus's house or Kit's house?
It's Mangus's house.
Why'd you look at me weird?
Because you said Mangusy, like he's Morrissey. He is very sensitive.
Like when Bet comes over and Kit's trying to console her, she says, I think this is when she says it. She goes, she is getting ready for the big trip.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, the big I hate when
She
people
says
say shit like that.
She's waiting for us before she takes off on the big trip.
like she's waiting on a dock somewhere and she's getting on a cruise ship to heaven.
The big trip.
I can't believe Christians don't realize how ridiculous they are. I'm sorry if I'm offended. No, I'm not sorry, but I mean, it's ridiculous.
The big trip. Come
Like there's a big
on.
escalator going up to the sky.
She's dead.
She's dead and she's ashes.
Deal with it. She's not in a fantasy playground in the clouds. She's fucking dead.
Elka, I'm sure that Dana right now is up in heaven playing tennis with who's dead tennis player?
I don't know. Elvis. She's playing tennis with Elvis in heaven while fucking John Lennon plays his guitar.
Exactly.
If this is what it takes to get you through the day, then...
Come on, we gotta get this podcast done so I can go outside and ride my unicorn. Okay. Okay, so the big trip.
Okay. So everyone else takes the big trip to Camp Maka Laka Waka Shaka Khan.
Yes, and then you realize who does have blue cars. Alice.
This is what you're paying attention to.
Alice, Bet, and that's it, I think.
Bet has a blue car?
Yeah, she has a blue Saab.
Well, Bet's not bisexual, or else I would think. Because you never know, based on the end of this episode, you never know who's going to hook up with whom.
This is true.
Those crazy lesbians.
And they all show up in their cute little winter clothing. It's cute winter clothing, but it's not the cutest winter clothing.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of, like, poof balls on hats or anything.
Do you think that Alice was wearing glasses throughout the show because in real life, if you could cry and cry, you can't wear your contacts?
Yes.
That was weird how they did that.
Plus, she looks fucking cute, and
yeah.
Those glasses look like they weighed about 8 pounds. They were adorable.
Well, how do you make her look bad?
Put her in sweatpants.
Leisha Haley? Whatever, I'd take her in sweatpants.
They go to the cabin where Dana had her first love interest, and they all start sharing their favorite Dana stories.
Yeah, and I love the flashbacks.
Yeah. First of all, Erin Daniels was so cute. Every flashback, she was so adorable. It made me so sad that she's gone.
I don't know. I don't think she was all that. I mean, she had some cute facial expressions.
Wouldn't it be cool if just like every week the characters can have Dana flashbacks, and that way we can still get to see her? Yeah. That way she can still be on the show.
Need to get over that shit. All the flashbacks were really good. That whole segment was good.
One of the things I noticed about the flashbacks is that before Dana was friends with this group of girls, she did not know how to dress. She wore the worst clothes in the flashbacks.
Well, she was trying to look like a straight girl.
She was wearing like a mint cardigan with poofs around the zipper.
I liked that.
She looked ridiculous.
I liked that sweater. You asshole. And I liked the dress she was wearing at the Y2K party. That's how it is, though. Like, you meet someone who's in the closet, and you're like, this person is so gay.
I know.
And it's kind of funny and frustrating at the same time trying to get it out of them.
Even Tegan and Sarah were like, Dana is a huge lesbian.
Kit was totally wasted, and she knew.
That was interesting. The Kit was wasted at the party because she's dry now. And I like how there's this big past thing with Kit, how she was an alcoholic, and it's just in the past, and they don't make this big deal about it now. Like, oh, she falls off the wagon, and blah, blah, blah. The Y2K party that Bet and Tina had featured a naked lady in a glass cage. I always try and have a naked lady in a glass cage at my parties.
With no pubic hair.
Oh, and they were all writing things on the glass. Eileen is here. That was weird because who spells Eileen? I-L-E-N-E?
Only one that I know
of. That's weird. Interesting. I wonder who that could be. Shane Hart's Jenny. It said.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
36, 24, 36. I have a cat named Shadow. Keep going. You're making me hot.
So, yeah, what'd you do? Sit there and freeze frame it?
What do you think?
Loser.
Oh, yeah. And then it said, underneath Eileen is here, it said 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. I don't know what that means, but
interesting.
And then Kit is talking about Dana's beard. She goes, he is as gay as the day is long. I love that one. Oh, and Shane had long hair in the year 2000.
Back when Shane was a playa. It was good to see her like that again, I have to admit.
Yeah, it was, but I don't like long hair on her.
I don't like her with long hair, and I also didn't like her hair at the funeral. It looked ridiculous. It was basically completely covering her face.
Shane's starting to look like one of the people in the Gorillas.
The Gorillas?
That band, that the whole band is anime characters instead of real people.
She needs a new do. I hope she gets totally new hair for next season.
And then Jenny mentions the time that she and Dana made out.
Yeah, and Alice looks like, what? You're lying.
And then Carmen.
What did Carmen say?
Are you saying this to get attention again? Yeah. That's one of the things that I really like about Carmen.
She says realistic things.
She just says what she thinks. She doesn't care.
That's probably what I would have said to Jenny at that moment.
I know. You're just doing this to get... Because in a way, it's true. Jenny is an attention whore.
Most of the people there look surprised.
She tells the story of when she went to that lame-ass dyke bar, which I think this is a common experience when you first come out. You come out, it's this big deal. You finally admit to yourself, okay, I'm gay. And you're like, now what do? I don't know any gay people. You look on the internet and you find a place that's supposedly a gay bar. And you're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to get some play. There's going to be all these hot girls. I'll make a bunch of friends. You go there and it's like a bunch of flannel shirt wearing mullets. And you're like, where are my people?
Out of all the flashbacks, I liked Shane's the best.
That was good.
I think she took her to the concert because Laura had broken up with her. So she took her there to cheer her up. And they dropped acid. So funny.
And Tegan and Sarah are so cute.
So then they hike on down to the waterfall.
Did you notice they're walking down like these stairs to the waterfall and the sound editing is so terrible, like they're talking but their lips aren't moving?
No.
They just cut in some random conversation as they're walking down. Obviously,
really?
They just put it in later and it sounded really Milli Vanilli.
So they all tossed some of the ashes into the water and Max was being manly the whole trip. He's the one that mapped out their hike. He's like, oh, let me take care of this, ladies. And then they get there to the waterfalls and he's like helping all of them down. Let me assist you with walking because I know you can't handle walking on your own, young lady.
Bet is saying some crap about Dana's in a happy place now with Buddha. And finally Shane is like...
She didn't say Buddha.
Shane's like, I'm not going to buy that fucking spiritual bullshit.
Yeah.
She's not in the giant playground in the sky. She's fucking dead. Deal with it.
Right.
Thank God, Shane. I mean, thank you, Shane.
Yeah, I'm glad they actually said that. But then they proceed to have the ghost of Dana in the waterfall.
That was the only part of the show that I didn't like.
They didn't really show a person. You know, when you're all fucked up mentally like that, emotionally like that, you think things strange. She's looking at the waterfall, obviously.
Well, she had taken her glasses off, too.
Really?
Yeah, Alice took her glasses off, and then she saw that.
So she looks at the waterfall, and it obviously could have just been water off the rocks or whatever, but they made it seem like...
It kind of looked like the silhouette of Dana.
I guess.
I mean, I guess it was kind of pretty, but it was also kind of cheesy.
Totally cheesy. And then Shane, they kind of made it look like she saw something too.
I think Shane was just looking at the
Nuh-uh.
water.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't see anything, did you?
No, but she gave it a weird look when she looked back.
So everybody tosses a little bit of Dana's ashes into
That's
the
it
river.
for that.
Are we going to sit here and talk about if there's shapes in the water? I don't know where to take that
Well, it's just like
discussion.
you're such a scientist that you won't even discuss it.
You're right, I won't.
Okay, move on then. Piatch.
So everybody tosses out a little bit of Dana's ashes. And I'm thinking, okay, what if I'm last in line? I'm going to be worrying that they're going to run out of Dana before I get to toss some in. Everybody's hugging, and then Tina's kind of off by herself standing by a rock. I think that's symbolic.
I guess it's symbolic. Who would want to hug her anyway? She's been touching man cum.
She's got syphilis now, so...
Shane hiked away and Carmen finds her. And of course, Shane's all distraught. At the beginning of the show, when Shane proposed to Carmen, okay, she's sitting there bawling her eyes out. And then she's just like, would you marry me? That's real romantic. And Carmen's wearing overalls.
Again?
Like, that's how they're going to remember this for the rest of their lives. Remember that time when Dana died and I was wearing some nasty ass overalls with dirt all over me and you were like, will you marry me? That's what they're going to tell their kids. So then the way that Carmen accepts is Shane's crying her eyes out again. And she's like, yeah, I guess I'll fucking marry you. I mean, she's totally unenthusiastic. Shane's just like, okay, give me a hug then.
Yeah.
So lame. Okay, this is obviously... Ding, 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 ding. That's what I would hear in my head if these things happen. Like, this is going to fail. Failure. Okay, now we get to the only juicy part of the show.
It's time for a new name mashing.
Speaking of this, well, let's talk about it first.
Okay.
Lara is sitting on the stoop, like she doesn't have a key, to Dana's apartment.
And Alice pulls up.
And has the total look of terror.
She's like, oh, shit. Haven't I had enough today? Now I had to deal with this crazy bitch, too.
Right. I had to go to my best friend's funeral where
steal
we were
her
totally
ashes.
dissed, steal the ashes, go on this big-ass hike up in the mountains. I'm whipped right now. I want to go home and go to sleep. Well, why was she at Dana's apartment? Maybe they were supposed to meet there. I don't know. That was weird. Why would they?
I don't know either.
But anyway, she sees Lara and she looks scared.
I was wondering, at that point, does Lara know yet? Because they don't show Alice telling Laura? Laura obviously knew something was wrong, but I'm not sure whether or not she knew Dana was dead.
Yeah, that's why I think they might have had plans to meet there. Once Laura saw Alice, she knew.
I don't know.
They go in, and Laura's crying, and
Alice is crying.
They turn to each other, and I predicted it.
You did?
Yeah, I said they were going to get together after Dana died. I didn't know it was going to be the same day.
Some people are kind of upset about that, but I think
upset about what?
Some of the L Word fans think that was a stupid thing.
You mean the people who don't realize that this is a dramatic television show?
Well, they just think it's stupid or unrealistic, but I think that is realistic.
Yeah, me too.
When something really terrible happens and you just feel bad all the time, you just want some comfort. Like last week I stubbed my toe and then Casey had to have sex with me.
What's gross about it is when you're crying like that and then kiss somebody, it doesn't taste good. It tastes like tears and snot.
Aww.
Aw, tears and snot. Okay, so what were you saying about on the internet I saw that people were calling them lice.
Oh. Well, they called Laura and Dana lard. So now they're like, that's awful.
I think it should be the soup chalice. That's my favorite one, and I made it up. Copyright pending.
I'm not going to call them lice because that's gross.
Well, I can totally imagine them getting together and be hot. They're both freaking adorable, but it'd be kind of like watching two teddy bears having sex. Like, oh, so cute. Good scenes from next week. More there than what meets the eye initially, I think.
Really?
Well, I would like to hear what you, Elka, have to say about it first.
I will say that the scenes from next week seem very intriguing without giving away too much, because I have no idea what's going to happen, except for that it looks like one of my predictions may be coming true because Shane's dad returns, which I said her family, I've said that like 10 times. So Shane's dad shows up out of nowhere and tells Shane that he needs her kidney.
And he wants to take her hunting for women.
It looks like next week is going to be the Charmin wedding.
Well, I don't know what's going on, but this is my prediction. Going by how Shane proposed and the fact that her father shows up on the same episode as her wedding, I think she's going to realize something about herself after meeting her. Well, has she already met her father?
I think she's never met him.
Okay, after meeting her father and maybe, sitting down and getting to know him or whatever, or at least observing something about him, I think she's going to realize something about herself regarding commitment. And if you notice the scenes from next week, the wedding shots are all of Carmen. There's some of Shane, but it looks like it's a pre-party. I think she's not going to show up at the wedding.
Oh my God, Shane's going to pull a Xander and ditch the wedding.
I can't believe you couldn't get through this fucking podcast without bringing up Buffy. It's like the last minute. I hate your guts. I really think that because, first of all, we know Carmen is probably leaving. So why are they having him get married on the last show? So Shane runs away, maybe with Bet, to Mexico. Because it looks like that prediction might be true, too.
Oh, my God.
They show, like, a rental car. And Tina's all like, this isn't your night with Angelica. Where are you? And then they show, like, this white rental car.
Yeah, all they show is taillights speeding off. And
to
me
the border.
And Casey looked at each other. We go, Mexico!
Yeah. So she's driving off, and there's a sign next to the road that's like, welcome to Mexico. But I was being sarcastic when I said she was going to flee with the child. But now,
our sarcastic predictions have been coming true more than our serious ones, like the sweatpants thing, the Xbox thing, and now Mexico.
They show a little bit of Alice and Laura. And Laura's at the wedding. Mm-hmm. And everybody gets laid at weddings.
No, I did not know this.
Yes, you did.
We have 2 weddings to go to this summer.
Yeah, but we're both taking our girlfriends. So, we could have a 3-way, I guess. But yeah.
Well, who'd be the one that's left out?
What?
If we both take our girlfriends.
No, I meant with another person. Jesus Christ. Do you need me to write out a mathematical equation
yes, write
a
chart for me.
If you're single and you need to get some weddings, top notch. Everybody's on the prowl there.
Didn't know that.
Plus lots of drunk girls. So they show a little bit about Alice and Laura. And then Jenny She's like, I'm going to get really drunk and I'm going to dance. And
Apparently Jenny is actually a lesbian.
What, did you think she wasn't?
Who the fuck knows? Because Max isn't giving her the pussy. So she has to go find herself some.
So hopefully she'll dump that asshole. And Carmen's mom miraculously is all happy about the wedding now.
Yeah, that's weird. I almost think Shane wants to marry Carmen for her family.
Oh, maybe that's her reason for leaving, because now she has her own. I don't know, but I think the wedding is not going to happen.
I suspect that you're right.
Did you suspect this before?
I hadn't thought about it, to be honest. Oh, did you notice Tina and Henry are there, and she looks at Bet and she's like, I'm not going to let you adopt my daughter. Henry and I are starting a family.
It does look like that, but I don't think she's actually saying that at that moment. I
don't care when she says it. Tina tells Bet that she's not going to let her adopt a baby.
And then she says,
That's
we're going to...
fucked up.
And then she says something like, we're going to start a family of our own. Gross. She just met the fucking dude.
Yeah, I have nothing against Kit and Angus starting a family, but Tina and Henry... Ugh.
And then lastly, Kit says to Mangus, does she say, I think I'm pregnant, or does she say I'm pregnant?
I don't know.
But either way, you know she is. I think.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Mangus doesn't have a smile on his face, but maybe it's just shock.
He loves kids.
Yeah.
And he loves Kit, so he'll love Kit's kids.
I understand, but when she starts saying it, she's like, I have something to tell you, and he has a smile on his face. Maybe he's thinking she's going to say, I'm going to marry you. I don't know, because that is at a wedding and people they catch the bug. But instead she says, I'm pregnant, or I think I'm pregnant, and his smile turns to a frown. Scenes from next week look good. Is it going to be a 1 hour episode or a 2 hour episode?
I think it's just a regular 1 hour. That's it, isn't it? That's the last one.
Yeah, that's where I'm wondering why it's only an hour.
This sucks. 12 episodes a year.
Last season, I think they did 13. They should have done more.
I know.
They should do 100. No. It's always sad at the end of the season.
So that's it.
Stay tuned for our next episode of The Chart, where we will be announcing our comic contest winners. And we will be posting those on the blog at www.theplanetcast.blogspot.com.
Or you can reach us by email at theplanetcast@gmail.com.
Or you can call our listener hotline at 505-244-0531.
All right, I'm out.
That's your thing. All right, I'm out.
I don't have a closing thing yet. And I think your Adios Amigas one is lame, so...
Adios, amigas. You do?
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, let me say it. I still want to say it.
Okay.
Adios, amigas.
Well, I saw you sitting there. I was trying not to stare. I wasn't sure if it was you. I didn't know just what to do. Well, are you drinking with me, Jesus? I can see you very clear. Are you drinking with me, Jesus? Won't you buy a friend a beer?
You're whistling through your nose.
Okay.
Big trees scare me. The music on this podcast is Cat Power from their album The Greatest, and Mojo Nixon and Jello Biafra from the album Prairie Home Invasion.